tutors, mentors, and the city with your host.com.
The City Tutors presents
Tutors, Mentors, and the City
with your host.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Kevin.com Brown, and welcome to Tutors, Mentors, and the City. And please join me in welcoming my guest for this episode, Dr. Chaz Austin. Yay! Dr. Chaz, how are you?
I'm fine, Kevin. Good to be here with you. Thanks very much.
I can imagine how busy you are, so thank you so much for taking some time out your day to join us on this episode. I really appreciate it. So listen, Dr. Chaz, people always ask me, what questions am I going to ask? And I try to explain to them in an academic arena, I'm still a comedian. I still come from the world of comedy. So you go to a comedy club, comedian walks on stage, he has a set prepared, but then he starts talking to the audience. How are you? What's your name? Where you from? That's my interview style, right? We go by the little things we observe. And we may have had no intentions of discussing it, but we see it and we have to talk about it. And I set up my first question with, as soon as I turn on my camera, I see you have to your left, Black Lives Matter in the window.
Yeah.
It's shouting at me. It's screaming at me. Now, so my question is that always there? Or when you were setting up the shot, you said, let me put this in the window?
No, it's always there.
Right? The basic point.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm not only a white liberal, but I'm a Jew. I'm first generation American. My parents came over in 1939 to escape from Hitler. Yeah. So Jewish people understand oppression, not in any way at the level that people of color have had to deal with that. Yeah, so I have Jewish friends who talk about when they were discriminated as Jews, and whoa, hang on a second. No cop has ever pulled you over for walking while Jewish, okay? So knock it off. You cannot and will not ever understand that. But we can understand as Jews from the perspective of being oppressed, yes, and fighting that everybody gets a shot, okay? Right. That what color your skin may be, what your sexual orientation may be, is irrelevant. Part of my work as an educator is that everyone has a shot to be self-actualized, because there are geniuses out there everywhere. I want them all to have that shot. And I certainly believe in inclusion, and I believe in diversity, but there's diversity 1.0 in my mind, okay? Which means all types of people are around the, let's say, conference table. Yes, all genders, all races, all ages, and so on. But I believe in what I call diversity 2.0, which is you can have all these different people, this disparate rainbow of people, yes? But if you're running an organization and they're all engineers, that's not enough. Yes. So you want an engineer, you want a finance person, you want an artist, you want an operations person. I want to call on the best in the country, in the world. Yes. And all that other stuff is secondary. That's real interesting. Okay. But I want a real bright engineer. What your background is, who you're sleeping with, irrelevant. Yes. Doesn't matter. And I constantly want to push past that. Again, so everybody gets a shot.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. Now, I want to pivot for a second, because I get the sense that I could talk politics and fill the whole hour and ask for a second hour from you. But I don't want to do that. I want to stay on the mission of City Tutors. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
City Mentors, a not-for-profit startup founded at City College, created at City College to provide free tutoring and free mentorship to basically the CUNY community, which could be anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 students on any given year. That being said, There are a lot of young people who are our biggest demographic: college students, recent grads, freshmen, seniors, sophomores, juniors about to graduate, and are trying to figure it out. So to that end, I'm going to ask about you, Dr. Chaz. Were you a child prodigy? And as a young man, everybody said, oh, this Chaz is going to be a doctor. He's brilliant and da, 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 da.
Oh boy. So not that. Okay. My parents thought I was dumb growing up. I grew up in New York City, in Manhattan. By the way, like you, I'm a CCNY alum. Yes, sociology.
Okay.
And my parents thought I was dumb. I applied to the High School of Music and Art, now the Fiorello LaGuardia School, yes, because it merged with performing arts. So I applied for music and art and I got in, and I called my mother. I said, I got in. And she said, you did? Like they're taking idiots this week? Okay. They died when I was a teenager. I've been on my own since I was 18. If they came back now, they would look at me and go, where's our son? Who is this guy? This is not possible that this dumb kid could be a professor with 3 LinkedIn learning courses with 2 books. No, not the right guy. So no. So I think the challenge for everybody in life is to overcome their upbringing. And there are people, millions of people, far worse upbringing than I had, but that's my story. You're asking about me. They thought I was dumb. I ain't dumb. I do dumb things sometimes, but I ain't dumb. So I overcame that. And when I'm working with people, students, whoever, private clients, it's always having them see what's possible in themselves, that no matter what they said about you, you can make your dreams come true. And really, as a professor and a coach, that's really my job, is empowering people to make their dreams come true, to let them see what's possible that they may never have seen before, and have them believe in themselves. And you can do this. I did it. You can do it too.
Now, let me unpack something you just said. So you were able to declare, you put your hand on your chest and you said, I ain't dumb. I ain't dumb. Was there ever a time where you thought you were?
No. As a kid, I was pretty lost at school, but I was sort of lost generally. My dad was German, and they called it discipline. Now it's called child abuse. I'd get the belt for, I don't know what. I mean, he would hit me. It's like I would confess to the Kennedy assassination, anything to get that belt off my butt. Yeah. So I was pretty lost in the world while I was growing up. I just confused, didn't know what was going on. After they died, things started to lighten up for me. The abuse was gone, and I started to see things, started to learn, started to fall in love with learning at high school. And the clouds parted, and I started to learn more and get smarter over time.
Okay, so Fiorello was music and arts that in that building at the bottom on 135th Street above those steps at the time you went?
Yep, it had originally been the Teachers College at CCNY and then became the High School of Music and Art.
Yes. Okay, so was that what directed you to City, because you had seen it every day going to high school?
I don't know. It was just absorbing the culture around me. Part of it was music and art. Part of it was just being a voracious reader and being open to things. I think there's no accident that my major was sociology in college, because it's how groups interact with each other. And I'm still a student of culture. I try to stay current on whatever's going on in the culture. Because if it impacts people, I want to know about it. It's going to impact my clients, my students. I've taught courses in culture, and I've taught college kids about Miles Davis, who they've never heard of before. And I said, look, I'm not committed that you have to like Miles Davis, but he's a genius whose music has been enjoyed for 70 years, more than that. There's something there. You want to know about him. And it may not register, but if you're an artist, maybe 20 years from now, you need some inspiration while you're painting and you put on Miles Davis and you go, oh, now I get it. Because when I first heard Miles, I was 14, 15. Okay, I'm supposed to listen to this guy. I don't get it. And when I became an adult, so suddenly it's like, yes. So you're planting seeds for people. These are things people need to know because it impacts people. You want to know about Beethoven. You want to know about people whose work has lasted for decades and centuries. There's something there that resonates for people. You want to have access to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well stated. So you went to music and arts for music or art?
Music, voice, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was a high tenor with a beautiful voice. And then about 25 years ago, I got my thyroid removed and that took care of the high end. And so I can't sing anymore. Or I have, what I like to say, I have Billie Holiday's range, but none of her talent. She had a very small range, but what she did with that, extraordinary. Like no talent to sing anymore. So I listen.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. As you were talking about music and arts, I was like, you know what? He didn't state what he went there for. What was his superpower? But my brother went to music and arts, so he told me a lot of stories about the lessons they learned. You know, something interesting my brother did tell me was at music and arts, you students got in-depth artistic training, right? How to be the greatest artist, find your creativity. It's okay to be weird, all that kind of stuff. But he had told me a story about how a lot of his classmates, his schoolmates, went on to make music that won Grammy Awards, that won, you know, all kinds of accolades, but they died broke. They were not taught business. They were not taught how to protect the monetization of that art. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, listen, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I train people for. My LinkedIn page says training people to self-market for the gig economy. Yes, musicians have been in the gig economy forever. That's you get a gig. You don't punch in at Music Incorporated from 9 to 5. You don't do that. Okay, but it's not just musicians. It's not just artists. It's everybody. There's a disconnect, and this has been my work for 20 years. There's a disconnect between what you're taught in academia and the business world. And you have to understand, this is for, my wife's a social worker. It's true for social workers too. They're taught their trade, but they're not taught the business side. So I'm the bridge between that. So if you're going to high school, college, whatever, what are you going to do? How are you going to monetize your education to be of service to other people? Yes. And for most people, this is, I just want to play the piano. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Well, I think it's been ascribed to Duke Ellington. I don't know who actually said it. You know, I play my music for free. They pay me to travel. Yeah, you have to understand the business side. You don't have to like it, but it's a new habit you have to develop to be entrepreneurial. And because the starving artist, no pass on that. Not right. So I've created things in my courses and in my coaching to show people how they have a basic brand and the different ways they can make money at it. So for example, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, so you're a pianist, let's say, maybe you get a master's degree so you can teach, and then you have private students, and maybe you do some work with companies where you represent, say, Yamaha, and you get income there. So it's what I call the multiple income streams approach. So you can always play your music, but you can still pay your bills, which is the point. Yes, that's what sustains you. Yeah. So that's what I do. I train people how to do this, and they hate it, and I don't care. I want you eating, and I want you sleeping at night, knowing you can pay your bills. And then when you have a gig, you're not dependent on the hat being passed around for like, oh, I hope I get enough so I can pay groceries. No, that's handled. I can do this. If I make money, great. If I don't, that's okay too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad we met because a lot of your thoughts, a lot of things you're expressing are things that I've been espousing lately. But that being said, okay, so you leave music and arts, go to City College, get a degree in social work.
Sociology.
Sociology, okay.
Yes.
And then what? What did you do after that?
By then, my folks had died. I was done with New York. Greatest city in the world. I'm out of here. Okay, too cold. And moved to the West Coast and got a master's in radio and television from San Francisco State. And I wanted to work in network television production behind the scenes, not a performer. Well, where do you go where the work is? Everybody knows that. Yeah. So I'm not going back to New York, and I'm not going to a small market to start because I'm a big city boy. So what's left? LA. So I go to LA and actually did work in network television production, worked for Dick Clark for a couple of years, wrote and produced promos for the CBS television network, the ABC owned and operated stations. Got out of that, morphed into something else, into the home video business. I sort of bounced around till I found my niche. I never had the benefit of having a mentor growing up because my folks had died so early. So I've stumbled a lot, but one of my students gave me this great idea, this concept called the cumulative positive, meaning everything you've done in the past makes you better at what you're going to do next. So all the things I've done, TV producer and the sales work I've done, and I was an offline video editor, helped me in the work I do now. Not always directly, but it's all part of the package that I bring to working with my clients and students.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. All right. So back then, that master's degree was available. Do you think that master's degree is still available? What is it? Television production? What'd you say it was?
It was radio and television. Listen, like I'm overeducated. I have 3 degrees. I have a bachelor's in sociology from CCNY, the master's in radio and TV from San Francisco State. I have a doctorate, the same degree as the First Lady, as Jill Biden, a doctorate in leadership. Yes, from Pepperdine University. And honestly, real disconnect between what you learn at school and what you need in the world. Yeah. So what I learned at San Francisco State was great for 2 years, but working for Dick Clark, I learned more in 6 months than I did in 2 years of coursework there. You always learn on the job, but what the degree gives you is credibility. It opened doors. I got the master's because I talked to a family friend when I was living up in the Bay Area who said, you should get a master's degree. I hadn't even thought of it. He said, that will distinguish you from all the competition. And indeed, when I went to look for work at Dick Clark, I met with the office manager. She said, you're the first person that's come by for a job here that had a master's, and I got the job. That made the difference. It opened doors. It's a passport, okay? So I tell people the reason you get more education is 1, the contacts you'll make, yeah, 2, the credibility, and 3, you might learn something, but not a lot. Lower your expectations. You ain't going to learn a lot, but the fact that I'm a doctor now gives me credibility. Yes, so that I finally figured out how to plan things. So I got the doctorate. Then I authored the books because here's the latest one, which I'm doing a second version of. It says doctor. Yeah, right. Makes a difference. Then I was a published author. Then I could call on LinkedIn Learning, and they gave me 3 courses to do on how to find, keep, and leave a job, but they want published authors. So it sort of builds that way.
Excellent. You just described the question that is on the mind of so many students, so many young people who are pursuing these degrees and haven't quite figured out the value of that tool in the tool chest. You just yeah.
My life's work for the last 20 years, it's in my doctoral dissertation, which was published in 2011, which was integrating a career course program, a mandatory program, not just a course here and there, but a mandatory program from day one in college that trains people how to monetize their education. What is this for? to have them be almost ready to graduate. So what do I do now? A little late. You want to start that conversation earlier and train them. Yes, this is the business side you need to understand. What are you going to do with the sociology degree or the TV degree or whatever degree it happens to be? And it's yes, part of it's making money, but that's the head fake. The real purpose of this is, how can you be of service to people? Yeah, like Muhammad Ali said, and I quote this all the time, service is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. So it really is harnessing your talents to be of service to other people and make the world a better place. But you have to be trained to do that, because I know you just want to play the piano. Not enough. Okay. But my program trains people to do this. And interesting story about this. I published a dissertation. I've been looking for 12 years for a college or university somewhere in the US to take this on and test it. Because I have lots of anecdotal information. Lots of people say, oh, I love your course, it was great, I learned a lot, it's terrific, da, da, da. But you can't go to colleges and say, hey, people really like me, you should do this. Not enough. I needed a test case. A couple of months ago, I connected with a woman named Mary Cannon on LinkedIn. She is at the State University of New York in Geneseo, which is near Rochester, upstate. It turned out she had taken my dissertation and put it into practice and has been running workshops based on my dissertation for almost 4 years, and the results have been spectacular. So Mary and I are now partnering up to take this nationwide, like ZZ Top. I'm bad, I'm nationwide. We're going to take it nationwide because it makes a difference, and it's a brand differentiator for a college to say, we offer this, and the parents are going to be real happy. We're going to train your kid how to find a job so that they don't fall off the cliff after they graduate with a piece of paper and $100,000 in debt. They're working. Thank you. Where do I sign?
Outstanding. Okay. So when you completed your PhD, that's what you call it?
It's an EDD.
When you completed your EDD, we were well into, you said it was 2011, did you say?
2011. That's when it was published. Yeah.
Okay. So this is we were into the gig economy in 2011, but where did you get your expertise on the gig economy? Was that because of your entertainment background?
Part of it. It mainly was practice. It was teaching over and over again. I designed courses based on my book, which I've been teaching for 6 years at Los Angeles Pierce College. That's part of the LA County Community College District, which is the largest one in the country, and 9 different schools. And I have a wonderful dean named Sharon Dalmage who has left me alone. Okay, that's what you want in a boss. Left me alone to create the courses my way. The book I showed, that's the textbook in the courses. Yeah. And I got to practice and improve and polish. And I saw this big gap that the workplace was changing. Corporate loyalty was dead. Yes. So what's everybody going to do? They're back in the 20th century. I have a resume, I have an education, I know how to dress and interview for a job. Why don't I have a job? I can't even get an interview. Oh my God, there must be something wrong with me. So there's a lot of shame. So what I tell my students is, no, they move the goalposts, but nobody tells you. That's my job. And we will figure out a strategy now so that you can become entrepreneurial and create a brand that you can sell. Yes. And work in the gig sense, different gigs, different clients. So you're never unemployed and you're never beholden to that one employer. Yeah. It's like having a business. You don't have one client, you have a series of clients. One drops out, you get a new one, but you're always making money. So it's like pulling teeth. I don't want to, I shouldn't have to. Baby boomers are the worst. I deserve a job. Yeah. And I go, I deserve hair. Okay. Ain't going to happen. All right, let's stop with I deserve. It's a new world. You're going to have to learn new skills. You learned how to use this. Yeah, these didn't exist, smartphones, until 2007. Yeah. So you can learn to do that. It's a new habit. I don't care if you like it, but this will sustain you. You can always make a living based on your skill set, which is always growing. You're always upskilling. So you've always got money coming in and you're doing something you at least like and maybe like me love.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay. So you have a ton of advice. I typically ask people from an arena when I interview them, what's the best advice they've received. Now, considering your circumstance, I don't know if you can just handpick the best. You lost your parents early, didn't really have mentors. You had to fend for yourself. Were you able to amass something that you can call the best advice that Dr. Chaz received?
Wow. I was involved years ago. This is my secret that I don't tell many people. But I was involved with an organization now known as Landmark Worldwide. It was started by a guy named Werner Erhard in the 70s. And I took a lot of courses which stayed with me. The work I did with them for a few years, more valuable than all the degrees I've had, because it created context for me. And it's based on Zen, the idea that life is essentially an interpretation. Yes. So there's a physical reality as far as I'm concerned. You and I are talking on a podcast. Yeah. Everything else we make up. Oh, I don't like how he's looking at me. He doesn't like me. He likes me, whatever. It's all interpretation. So you can create life based on interpretations that are empowering. Yes. You don't go crazy with it. It's like, do you have a comb, by the way, Kevin? Because the hair's getting in my eyes. No, it's not, dude. Let's get real and grounded. But you create life as an interpretation that works for everybody around you, and that's the secret, and that's the best advice. And it's been ongoing in my life since then. I haven't participated in this stuff for well over 20 years, but it stuck with me. It's the cheapest education I ever got. It costs very little, and the best. And it created the context for everything. It told me what was possible. I mean, a doctorate? Really? This dumb kid's going to be a doctor? Are you kidding? Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah, I can be an author. And the point is not me. So can you. So can you, kid. You can do this too. Yeah. And I will help you in any way I can to get there, because you got something valuable other people need. So you need to get out of your own way. Yeah. Because it's all about other people. I always talk about target markets and target audiences. People need what you got, okay? So whatever shyness or whatever stuff that's in the way, push past it, because it's all about them. It's not about you.
Okay. Now, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for dropping these jewels. You have them in capsules. Like it's clear that you are an author and you've shared them quite a bit, because you know how to make a meme out of it. You know how to put everything into the thing from the beginning to end, and it's not too wordy, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
So that being said, out of all the things we've discussed, did we leave anything out? Is there anything that at the end you would say, oh, you know what, I forgot to mention this. I told them this.
Well, I would say to reviewers, that they look at me and please don't hate me because I'm beautiful. That's I kind of think we've covered it all. If people want to know more about me in more detail, they can go to my LinkedIn page, Dr. Chaz Austin. I've got over 34,000 followers now, all close personal friends, as we know. Anybody who's connected to you online is a close personal friend. But they can find out more about me. But
you are one of the people that have maximized your use of LinkedIn. I was telling several people over the last couple of weeks that I never got it. I never got LinkedIn. I probably started an account when it first came out. I never used it when I went applying for a job. I had the application required me to put a LinkedIn information, but I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't think, see, a lot of what I teach is about how to use social media to market yourself, but it has to be customized to the individual. So here's the different options. What works for you? You're already a celebrity, you're already well known. I don't know why you'd need LinkedIn at all. Really. Okay.
Right.
And for me, it's great. And for other people, I mean, Katy Perry has like 108 million followers on Twitter because that's where her audience lives. It's little tweeners, who when she drops a new pair of shoes, they buy them up. So you have to customize how you use them and how you mix them based on where the audience is and who's going to pay attention. And where you're going to find them. The line I always use is like, if you're opening a cleaning store in the neighborhood, you don't need social media at all. What, you're going to get likes from someone in China? That's not going to bring revenue. Okay. What you do is you print out some flyers, 10% off on your first order, and you hire some people to take them to apartment buildings in the neighborhood, because that's your audience. So you got to be appropriate to who's your audience and where do they live? And Kevin Brown's audience does not live on LinkedIn. So a lot bigger, a lot broader than that. You don't need that.
And again, Dr. Chaz, I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. It was a pleasure. Great questions. Really a pleasure talking with you.